system. So I am opening my notepad. You know that notepad, with the help of notepad you can save your text inside the computer. So notepad is a simple text editor. So I am opening my notepad, and as well as I will share my entire screen so that you can see what is going on my desktop. So here I am sharing my entire screen. Now you can see what is displaying on my monitor. I am opening a notepad editor. So inside this notepad editor, I will write something. I will type some text, and that text you can simultaneously write in your notebook. So our today's exam topic is memory. So you are familiar with this word memory. Memory is used to store data and information in the computer. There are two types of memory in a computer. Number one is primary memory, and second is secondary memory. Again, the primary memory is of two types. Number one is RAM, stands for random access memory. And another is ROM. It stands for read-only memory. So this you can note down in your notebook. Memory is used to store data and information in a computer. So there are two types of memory in a computer: primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is of two types, RAM and ROM. So I will discuss one by one what is RAM, ROM, and what about for secondary memory. So you have noted down, I hope. So now write down the next topic, RAM. So you should keep in mind that RAM stands for random access memory. So whatever text I typed inside this notepad, this text is stored in random access memory. So when I switch off the computer without saving this file, so this data will be lost. It means when you switch off the computer, the contents of the RAM will be lost. Earlier in the previous class, I have showed you the random access memory chip, RAM chip, how it is looking. So I am opening, for example, in Google search engine, I type RAM chip. If I search the images, you can see the image of RAM chip. So this is a RAM chip actually. So you can insert this RAM chip on the motherboard. This is a random access memory, and it holds data temporary. It holds data for some time only. If you switch off the computer, or if there is a power failure, or if the power is lost, the contents of this memory will be lost. So you can note down in your notes. RAM is a volatile memory. Contents will be lost when the power is off. So when you switch off the computer, you can correct the spelling of contents. The contents of RAM will be wiped out or erased. So if you have any device, suppose you have a device, mobile device. So mobile also contains two types of memory. When you purchase a mobile, you can see its configuration and you will check how much RAM is there, how much ROM is there. RAM means random access memory. So what is displaying on the screen? Whatever you see on the screen, it is stored in random access memory. So a processor can access the contents of RAM in a very fast speed. So if you want to see the ROM chip, there is ROM chip also, RAM chip I have shown you. Now ROM chips. So ROM stands for actually read-only memory. So I will show you how the ROM chip looks. Suppose I write inside the Google search engine ROM chip. So you can see on the screen, these are the ROM chips. So it is fixed on the motherboard. This is also called a BIOS chip, basic input output chip also. So this is called a ROM chip. It contains some data, some programs, and that data and programs are stored at the time of manufacturing of this chip. So this ROM contents cannot be erased. That's why it is called read-only memory. So you can write ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. And you can write the contents of ROM will not be lost if the computer is switched off. The contents of ROM is stored at the time of manufacturing you can write down at the time of manufacturing. So when this chip is manufactured, data or the program, a small program is stored in this chip. It is also called a BIOS chip. BIOS is an example of ROM. So BIOS stands for basic input output system. So a small program is stored in this BIOS chip. When you switch on the computer system, that program is stored in RAM, and you can see the contents of this BIOS chip. Maybe you have experienced that when you switch on the computer system, on the black screen some instructions are displayed. So those instructions are displayed because of that BIOS chip. BIOS contains a small program, and then that program, that basic input output system program, will check whether keyboard is attached or not, whether mouse is attached or not. So it is contain a small program. Then it will ask you to insert any bootable CD so that you can load your operating system in the computer's memory. So whatever you save in a computer, whatever you, suppose you run a program, that program first comes from the secondary storage to the primary memory, and then processor can access those data and instructions. So in mobile also you will experience two types of memory, RAM and ROM. So when you switch on your mobile, suppose your mobile is off, and when you switch on your mobile, the contents of ROM means the permanent storage, it accesses the contents of RAM, and that contents will first copied in the random access memory, and from that random access memory the processor can access the data in a very fast speed. So this is how RAM and ROM works. So when you purchase a new computer system, maybe you have seen some instruction displayed on the screen with the black screen. So sometimes you see in the computer level, so that press del to enter BIOS. So I will show you the BIOS screen. So this type of screen maybe sometimes you see on the computer's screen. So this program, this blue color, you can see some instructions are written, some settings, standard CMOS, advanced BIOS feature, like this. So this type of screen is displayed on the computer. Actually, one more look, American Megatrend. So this you can see MI BIOS American Megatrend. So this small program, the execution of a small program is done by a computer. So this program is stored at the time of manufacturing of this BIOS chip. So you cannot erase the content, but you can change electrically. You can change the settings of BIOS if you want. So now you understand that there are two types of chips, actually two types of memory actually. So in primary memory you can write RAM and ROM. If you want to, sometimes in examination they will ask you to write the difference between RAM and ROM. So you can write like this in your notebook. You can write down one question: what is the difference between RAM and ROM? So which is a volatile memory? Can you type inside the chat box which is a volatile memory? Can you type inside a chat? Okay. Okay, Sumedh, Mayank, Shreya and Krati has written RAM. Yes, RAM is a volatile memory. Volatile memory means the contents will be lost in the absence of power. When you switch off the computer system or suddenly the power is off, the contents of RAM will be lost. So maybe you have observed that when you switch on the computer system, computer starts from the beginning. It loads the operating system in the random access memory, because that contents of memory will be lost. RAM, suppose this screen is displaying Google Meet and Google Classroom and then this search engine. So if I switch off, suddenly I switch off this computer system, and when I restart the computer system, you will not see these windows, because these windows, these contents are actually stored in random access memory. So these content will be lost when you switch off the computer system or suddenly the power is off. That's why it is called a volatile memory. So can you write down in the side the chat box how much RAM is there, means what is the capacity of RAM in your mobile? Can you type inside the chat box what is the capacity of RAM in your mobile? So Vikas Singh Lodi is writing 6 GB, Gaurav is saying, Lakshya are also writing 8 GB. If your mobile has a 6 GB or 8 GB RAM, it means you are using a very advanced Android mobile. So 4 GB, okay. Vaibhav is writing 4 GB, Adarsh 6 GB, Riya 6 GB, Sumedh 4 GB, okay. So it means very advanced Android mobile you are using, and it contains the large amount of RAM. Can you type what is the capacity of ROM in your mobile? Inside the chat box, you can type what is the capacity, what is the size of ROM in your mobile. 128 GB. Vikas is also writing 128 GB. Lakshya 128 GB. It means a very advanced mobile you are using, because in my mobile, this mobile is a very old one. You can see this mobile. So this mobile contains only 3 GB RAM and I think only 32 GB ROM, means a permanent storage. Mayurika Meravi is writing 256 GB. Okay. So Mayurika, can you tell me the model of your mobile? Mayurika, can you type which company's mobile are you using? Laptop. Okay. Okay, laptop's memory is 256 GB. Okay. So you understand the difference between RAM and ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory, it is a permanent storage. So if I write what is the difference between RAM and ROM, so you can write point wise. You can put the heading RAM and then ROM like this. And ROM. So first you can write down the full form, means acronym. So it stands for random access memory. You can write like this, random access memory. And here you can write read-only memory. Second point, you can write volatile memory. This is not a volatile memory. You can write non-volatile, and you can see large capacity, large size, and RAM, ROM chips has a small size. You can see contents will be lost in case of power failure. Or in absence of power, you can write here. You can write contents will not lost. Contents will not be lost. And then fifth, you can write temporary memory. And here you can write permanent memory. And it's expensive. It's cheap. Like this, you can write down the difference between the RAM and ROM. So here I am collecting your attendance with the help of this add-on. You can see I am connecting 15 members, means 14 members, 13 members, 13 students are attending this class. So I am downloading the attendance. So you can see on my desktop. This is your attendance. So I can see how many students are there, 14 students. So it is 100% attendance in today's online class. So this type of difference you can write down in your notebook. If you want to write in a very attractive way or with a very nice sentences, you can go through the books or internet contents. So I will assign inside the Google Classroom one very important question for you. So here I am assigning one question. What is the difference between RAM and ROM? Write in, suppose, 100 words. So I will write in points the difference between the two memory. And I can assign this as a short answer. And I can assign to all students. Mass will be 25. and due date will be up to 21. You can complete this work. The topic is memory. So this is how a question can be assigned to you, and you have to complete this assignment work. Now let's go ahead and let's see some. I'm erasing the contents. Now write down the next topic. What is secondary memory? So you know that secondary memory is used to store the data permanently. With the help of secondary memory devices, we can store data in a computer permanently. Permanently means the contents will not be lost when you switch off the computer, or in absence of power, the contents will not be lost. So you can write an example of secondary memory devices, or you can write this point also, contents of secondary memory will not be lost in absence of power. So example, can you give me the example? Can you write inside the chat box the example of secondary memory? Sumedh is writing memory card, okay. Can you type the name of secondary memory or secondary storage devices? External hard disk, Vikas is writing. Sumedh is writing CD, okay. OS storage, DVD. I am asking about the devices. So you know that secondary storage devices are hard disk number one, and then you can write compact disk, and then you can write DVD, digital versatile disk. Then you can write USB flash drive, floppy is also a storage device, but nowadays we are not using floppy. Floppy is also a storage device, and magnetic tape is also a storage device, but these are some old devices, floppy and magnetic tape. Nowadays we are not using this floppy and magnetic tape. I can show you the picture of floppy and magnetic tape in Google search engine, how it looks. Nowadays we are not using floppy. Earlier we were using these floppies as an storage devices. The capacity of this device is very low. Only 1.44 megabyte data you can store in this floppy disk. Nowadays a computer also not containing floppy drive. So I will show you the image of floppy drive. Drive means where you insert this floppy disk. So floppy drive in desktop. So you can see in this computer, this is the drive where you can insert the floppy. In floppy you can store a very small amount of data, only 1.44 megabyte. or 512 kilobyte data you can store in a floppy. Floppy comes in two sizes, so this is a 1.44 MB floppy, and this is a 512 kilobyte floppy. So in earlier days we were using these floppy disks to store data. So you can see this is a floppy. Floppy is also a storage device. Nowadays we are not using floppy because the capacity of floppy is very low. Only 1.44 megabyte of data you can store in the floppy. So very less size, 1.44 megabyte. If I show you how the magnetic tape looks, in earlier days we were using magnetic tape to store data. So these are the magnetic, maybe you have seen these in cassette form also. In radio we are using cassette, but in computer also this type of magnetic tapes are used to store large amount of data. The limitation of this magnetic tape that you have to reverse and forward the tape to access the data. So you can see how the magnetic tape looks. So in earlier days, we were using magnetic tapes also to store large amount of data in a computer. So it is also called a cassette. But cassette contains the songs, audio songs. But magnetic tape, inside the magnetic tape, you can store different type of data in a computer. So if I write magnetic tape device here. So it looks like this magnetic tape. You can see. So there is a ribbon, magnetic ribbon, and you can move forward and backward this ribbon. So you can read, you can access the data serially in this magnetic tape. So you have to reverse and forward this tape to access the data. So nowadays we are not using magnetic tape also. So these are the old devices, magnetic tape and floppy disk. Now mostly we are using USB flash drive. CD and DVD also we are not using much. So these are the secondary storage devices. Can you guess any other storage devices? You can type inside the chat box any other storage device you know about it. Pen drive, okay. So this pen drive is also called USB flash drive. So it is also in the form of a chip. It is called a flash drive also. So you can see the images of pen drive. A large amount of data nowadays you can store in this pen drive also, USB flash drive also. This is a removable device. Removable device means you can insert and you can remove this device on the computer. Can you guess hard disk is a removable or a non-removable device? Type inside the chat box. Priyasha is writing Blu-ray disc, okay. It is a high capacity DVD, Blu-ray disc. Hard disk, non-removable. Gaurav and Sumedh is saying non-removable, okay. So you can see the hard disk is fixed inside a computer. There are some hard disks which you can say external hard disk, but hard disk is usually fixed inside the computer. I will show you the images of the hard disk. So this is the hard disk actually. So it is enclosed in a protective case. That's why you are not able to see the real image of the hard disk. Hard disk looks like this. It is a circular magnetic disk. So this hard disk is divided into tracks and sectors. I will explain what is tracks and sectors, and there is a read-write head. So this hard disk revolves in a very high speed, around 3200 rotations per minute, and this read-write head moves constantly over the hard disk. So there is a plates of these circular shapes. I will show you some plates of, because this platters, it is called platters. So you can see, yes, in this image you can see there is a stack of hard disks and a read-write head. Between these disks move constantly to and fro over the hard disk so that it can read and write data on the hard disk. So hard disk looks like this. You can see there are plates of disk 1, 2, 3, 4, and the read-write head mounted over this hard disk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 read-write heads are there, and those heads move to and fro over this hard disk to access the data or to read and write the data over the hard disk. So these plates are called platters. So you can see this is a read-write head, and it moves like this over the hard disk. This hard disk is rotating. This is a spindle, and you can see this is a read-write head. So there is a very small gap between read-write head and the disk, and there is a platters of disks 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the actual image of the hard disk in animation form. You can see how the head is moving over the hard disk. So this disk is actually divided into tracks. The rounded tracks are there, and those tracks are divided into sectors, and in each sector there is a 1-bit information. So I hope you understand the working of hard disk, how it revolves and how the head moves over the hard disk. Can you see on my desktop the animated form of this hard disk? Type inside the chat box. Are you able to see the animated image of the hard disk? Okay. So this is the working of the hard disk actually. You can see coils on this read-write head. These are the arms connected. And sample data to write, you can see platter of disk. And this revolves like this. So this hard disk revolves in a very high speed. 500 gigabyte of data you can store in this hard disk. So you can see the complete structure, complete hardware of the hard disk, how it revolves. Rings are placed between each platter and precisely milled to ensure the platters and arms align properly. These are the screws and caps, both sides of the platter. So in this way, it is writing 1 and 0, you can see in the images. And this is the full picture of the hard disk. And here are the connections where you connect this hard disk to the motherboard. So you know that hard disk is not only a single disk, it contains the platters of the disk. In this image you can see 4 platters of disk are there, 1 2 3 4. 4 read-write heads are actually 1 2 3 5 read-write heads are moving here to read and write to access the data in a very fast speed. So this hard disk revolves around 3200 rotation per minute. So these are the various images of the hard disk. So how hard disk is divided into text and sectors, I will show you one image. So you can see in this image, the hard disk is divided into tracks and sectors. So those concentric circles are called tracks. So it is loading the picture. This is the inside view of the hard disk. Picture is loading. So in this image you can see these are the tracks, concentric circles on the hard disk, and each track is divided into sectors. It is called disk sectors, and this portion is called a cluster. In each one sector it will store a bit of information. So if I ask you to draw the diagram of tracks and sectors of the hard disk in your notebook, I can assign one question to you inside the classroom. One assignment: draw the track figure of tracks and sectors in a hard disk. Draw the diagram. Consists of tracks and sectors in a hard disk. So I will give you 10 points for this assignment, and the due time is 21. Topic is hard disk. So a very nice image of the hard disk, means in circular shape you have to draw this type of image, tracks and sectors. This type of image you can draw, track, sector, sector, cluster, like this, and you can color that image. So all those assignments which I assigned to you will be done in the homework notebook. You have to maintain 2 notebooks, classwork and homework. So this assignment, draw the figure of tracks and sectors, you have to done in this homework copy. Some other devices are there, compact disc and DVD. You are already familiar with this CD. In short, we call it a CD. So can you tell me what is the normal size of a CD inside the chat box? Can you tell me what is the normal size? Adarsh Maladhari, can you turn on your mic and please ask what you are asking? Adarsh?
Sir, in book there is a question that what is sound coil?
Sound coil.
Voice coil. Yes, sir.
You are writing voice coil or sound coil?
Sir, voice coil, sorry.
Voice coil or voice call?
Sir, voice coil.
In the NCERT book?
Oh, sir. Sumit Arora book. Sir, Sumit Arora.
Okay, can you show me the picture of that text? Hello, can you show me the picture?
So, मिल नहीं रहा है.
Maybe you have seen some copper coil wounded around one cylinder, that is called a voice coil.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can search. Suppose if I search on the internet, I am presenting again my entire screen. So if you search on the internet, maybe you have seen the coil. Voice coil. So this type of coil is wounded around a cylinder. So this is a coil of wire attached to the apex of loudspeaker cone. So it provides the motive force to the cone by the reaction of a magnetic field. So maybe they are discussing about this coil. Okay, can you tell me what I am asking? Yes, the normal capacity of a CD. Eight GB, 1 or 2 GB. No, the CD comes in two capacities. One is the 700 MB, 700 megabyte. You can note down CD's capacity. $737 MB if I exact, and 650. Earlier, the CD comes in two sizes. You can write in here compact disc 650 megabyte or 700 megabyte. And then DVD is of 4.5 GB or 8 GB, 8.3 GB. So these are the available sizes in the market of CD and DVD. 700 megabyte. Oh, there are variations, 650 or 700 or 750, 847. Okay. So two sizes actually, 650 and 700. These are the normal sizes of CD. And nowadays you will not use the CD to store data because 650 is, I think, a very small capacity. So we are using USB flash drive. Do you have flash drive? Do you have your personal flash drive? What is the capacity of that flash drive? Can you type? Vaibhavraj? Vaibhavraj? Please turn on your mic, Vaibhavraj. I think the connection is lost. Vaibhavraj is not responding. Ria?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a pen drive? That USB flash drive?
Yes, sir. है पेन ड्राइव बट पर्सनल नहीं है.
Okay, can you tell me the size of that pen drive? What is the size? Means the how much data you can store in that pen drive.
Yes,
And
sir.
what is the capacity? Okay, if you want to know the size with the help of a computer, you can double click on the My Computer icon. And you can see this C and D drive. It is showing the size of this C and D. Actually, this is a partition of the hard disk. So logical partitions are created on the hard disk. So you can see this hard disk is represented by the drive letters C and D. If you right click on that drive letter, and you can see the properties, and inside the property you can see the size of the hard disk. So it is showing 465 GB, the total capacity of this C drive. So I have 1 terabyte hard disk installed in this computer system, and that hard disk is divided into two logical partition. One is 465, another is 465 GB. And you can see in this computer one DVD drive is attached, and inside the DVD drive I inserted one CD, and you can see this CD is showing the total capacity of this CD, that is 702 MB. If you know, again you can right click and you can select the property option. Inside the property dialog box you can see the capacity of this CD, 702 megabyte. So if you want to check the capacity or the size of any of your device, so you insert that device, suppose pen drive, you insert the pen drive in the computer and double click on the My Computer icon. So inside the My Computer icon you locate the drive letter for that particular storage device, and you can right click means you select the drive, and then right click means press and release the right button of the mouse. It will pop up one window. Inside that window you will see certain options, and the last option is properties. So inside the property you can check the capacity of various storage devices. So here I had clicked on CD drive, so this CD is of 702. You can also check how much space is used, how much free space is there. So only 30 megabyte free space is available in this CD, so I can add more 30 megabyte data in the CD drive. So if your storage device is full means no more space is available in your device, you cannot store more files in that device. So Vikas Singh Lodhi is saying 16 GB, Riya Bopche is saying 8 GB, Sumedh is saying 8 GB. So each and every device has a capacity, and that capacity is measured in either in gigabyte or megabyte. Can you tell me how many megabytes are there in 1 gigabyte? How many megabytes are there in 1 gigabyte? Write down in chat box 102 for exactly. Mayank Jode is writing 1000. Actually it is 1024. Why it is 1024? I will explain this concept in your next class, because in 1 kg you know that 1000 grams are there, but in 1 GB 1024 megabyte is there. So why this 24 is there, why not 1000? I will explain the memory units, about the memory units in our next class. So you can click on that. You have to, once again I remind you that you have to download 2 apps. If you are attending the class with the help of mobile, you have to download 2 apps. One is Google Classroom app, and another is that Google Meet app. If you are attending the class with the help of laptop and desktop, no app you have to install in your computer, because those apps directly access through the web browser. So I am going to end this class, and I want that you should complete your assignment. 2 questions I have assigned you. One is the difference between the RAM and ROM, and another is the diagram of that hard disk, the tracks and sectors and all those things. If you want, if you have any question, you can ask. You can turn on your mic and you can ask.
Sir, can you share this video?
Okay, you know that you can access Gmail also. If you click on these 3 dots, these are the 9 dots. If you click on this 9 dots, you can see the apps icons are displaying. So through that apps icon, if you click on the Gmail icon, so your G Suite Gmail app will be open in your computer, and you can see, you will receive one email which contains that video. I had sent you already one video of the previous class, and you can directly access that video. For example, here if I click on this video will open. So I will send you the recorded video of this class in your Gmail. But one condition, I want that if you have attended my class, then only I will share the recorded video. If you are not attending my class, I will not share my video, because in that case maybe you think that you will receive the video in your Gmail account, so no need to join at that particular time. So what is the timetable of our class? You can see on clicking on the classroom. So on the classroom banner you can see timetable. So our timetable is on Tuesday and Saturday it is at 11:30 to 12:10, on Thursday 9:30 to 10:10, and on Friday it is 10:30 to 11:10. So you should note down this timetable and paste this timetable at a suitable place at your home, so that you cannot miss the class. So I request you all to click on that leave call button. Yes. You want to ask anything?
So why the contents
Sumit.
of the RAM are, sir?
Yes.
So why the
What the
contents of the RAM are lost when we turn off the computer?
Look, there are 2 types of memory we have created. The memory is created by human being. So this random access memory means to access, because it is a very expensive memory, so you have to access the data in a very fast speed. So this is a live data, actually it in electronic form. So when you know that when the power is on, electrons moves in a very fast speed. So it is very easy to access the data from the random access memory in a very fast speed. But a power is required to move those electrons. So if you want to store the data permanently on the hard disk, so those electrons are not in moving state, so you cannot access the data in a very fast speed. So 2 types of memory they have created. One is primary memory. So the contents of secondary memory storage device, for example hard disk, so it first loads that data into the RAM, and then the processor can access those data in a very fast speed. So you know that power should be on to access. If you want to access any, suppose you want to move the fan, you switch off the fan or you switch on the fan. Hello, Sumit.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you want to move your fan, you switch on the fan or you move it manually, you rotate it manually with the help of some
Switch
kind
on.
of. Why you are using electricity to move the fan? Can you develop such type of fan where no electricity is required?
No, sir.
Why?
So by bed. So because it needs energy for movement and electricity provides it.
No, that is another reason. I am not asking about the physics concept, why the fan is revolving, but can you develop such a, means you can invent anything that in which the electricity is not required and our work will be fulfilled. For example, in our body, certain mechanisms are working. Our heart is beating, our blood is flowing. No electricity is required. Or there is an electricity or heart beating.
No, sir.
So I want that you should try some new inventions in which electricity is not required.
So by using pressures, heat pressure.
Okay, you try something new, some innovative concept I want from you, that in which the electricity is not required. Or each and everything, means the computer, and all other devices we need electricity. In mobile also we need electricity in the form of battery. But can you think about it that maybe are you able to develop such mobiles in which electricity is not required? I want such mobile in which I no need to charge it. Means because sometimes the power is off in my home. If there is a mobile in which the charging is not required. Sumit,
Yes, sir.
can you invent this type of mobile where battery is not required?
Not now. So
Okay,
we
you
need to
think,
think for some technologies like that.
okay. Okay, you should think about it, that can we develop such devices in which electricity is not required, power is not required, battery is not required, so that we can save our environment also. So you should think about it, because nothing is impossible in this world. We can develop so many things. Earlier in our ancient times, you can see in our ancient stories, there is none of the story mention any electricity type of concept, but they flew their you can see aeroplane or sometimes of like this, and they can also using some missiles like arrows. So you should think about it. Can we develop such things in which electricity is not required? This is your assignment. All those students must also search some idea. Can you develop such devices in which electricity or battery or such type of things is not required? Can you develop such kind of things? So this will be your project also. So you think over it, because nothing is impossible in this world. So I am ending this class. You can click on the icon which is located between the microphone and the video camera. Turn off your camera. So this leave call button, you should click on this leave call button to leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir.